Yeah, I guess we'll give them some kind of audio for right now. Anyhow, you should have audio now.
Yeah, I hear you. Oh yeah, I hear everything.
Oh yeah, audio's
Yeah,
coming back, people.
I hear it all. Yeah, to whoever that one other person is watching.
I don't know. There's somebody out there.
Yeah.
It's a stalker. If we ever actually turn this into a show,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be amazed. Like I cut the intro out of our actual recording, but whatever.
It's cool.
But a 2-man production, I don't think we can do it.
Yeah.
Let me.
Well, 1.5. I don't. I'm mainly just kind of here co-host, and you do a lot of the back end.
Moron support.
Yeah.
Or monkey support.
Yeah.
Like I like to call it.
I call it back end.
Can't be too offensive. So,
Whoa,
so
I missed that one.
Mac user.
Mac user. Yeah. We were getting a little
Oh, my
creamer for the
goodness.
coffee on the way here. We're pulling out of the grocery store, and ahead of us, I snapped a picture of it.
Yeah, did we both see that at about the same time? Like,
Yeah.
what? What
Yep.
the fuck is that?
Well, you said it first, and then I looked because I was dicking around on my phone anyway, and he was driving people. I wasn't driving, so
I'm never driving. I'm never at the wheel.
and yeah, we see a car in front of us has a vanity plate Mac space user.
I wonder how they nailed that one down, dude. I really do. Like, how
Maybe,
did
maybe
they?
they've had it for a while. I'm thinking you probably had to lock that one down 15 years ago
Well,
at least.
It's not like it's not like one person gets it and then it's done. It's individual state by state according to the DMV.
But yeah, this person in our state,
So
Mac's popularity of like people like being like in on Mac and like being Mac fanboys and fangirls,
What?
I think started. I think maybe okay. So I'm saying 15 years ago, but it could have been around like the time of the iPhone. But that wouldn't be a Mac, you know.
I think old Zuckerberg, I think he coded part of Facebook on an old iBook, like an iBook G3 maybe.
Mm.
I don't know though. I'm not up on all my Facebook trivia. Some of it yes, some of it no.
But I'm saying this person had to gotten the license plate 10, 15 years ago at least, and they just held on to it.
Yeah.
State like this, we do have two big cities, you know.
What? Philly
and Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. You call Pittsburgh big though? I mean, they're
population-wise, it's decent.
yeah. But there's also a lot of smaller areas around it that are very much a part of Pittsburgh. But they
don't get counted either.
I know they don't. They don't. It's like you got Aliquippa. That's not huge, but
well, the thing about Pittsburgh is it's kind of like even like when you're getting towards downtown Pittsburgh, a little bit before it, it's like pretty rural and hilly, and like there's a lot of like woods and stuff.
Oh yeah,
just out in the suburbs of Pittsburgh. So it doesn't take long to get to like rural areas around there.
I always feel so out of place with the with this dumb iPad.
Yeah,
it's just
bulky.
Like, it never does what I want it to be. So I'm gonna try and set it and forget it, and swipe once in a while. Got the swallowing going on, man.
Sorry, man.
That's good. Hey, well, fuck it. We're doing it live, right?
Yep.
So
sorry, that coffee made me phlegmy.
That's the thing. If anybody that does or has or will listen in the future, watch this back or even run back the audio version of the podcast, it's going to be two entirely different beasts, two different animals.
Yeah.
Going from our old, highly produced audio only to the live version. You know, I still do some tweaking to the audio podcast before I release it, but I've literally cut my editing time down from 15, 18 hours down to like an hour, or as long as the show is. Probably about double show time.
What do they say it is for video editing? Like 1 hour of editing gets you like 1 minute?
I don't even know.
I think in video editing.
Yeah, I don't. I mess with it some, but not enough to know that.
I'm just wondering what the equation is for audio editing.
So anybody out there, we're going to hammer this out live. Always in front of people. I think we should do that. We're not going to work out the kinks live because that stuff's hair pulling.
Yeah. Went through a little bit of that beforehand.
Kung Fu audio.
Yeah.
Throwback.
So yeah, rolling from the Mac user though.
Oh my goodness.
Some of our first topics are Mac related. Do you want to go with yours first or do you want to go with mine?
I want
Or you want to talk about like this person's vanity plate more?
Yeah, I want to expand on that a little bit.
So big state, there are some population centers. They had to have got it 15 years ago. I'm saying that's my money.
Something, man. Yeah, unless nobody thought of it and they just lucked into it.
Nah, somebody from Philly must have well, no, because we saw it here. So it wouldn't have been from Philly.
You think that's local to us?
Maybe they were just passing through.
I don't know, man. Yeah. Maybe.
Because now that is a major route there through there.
Right,
now.
right.
Yeah.
But we got to go further than that. They were driving a Ford.
Oh yeah, they were driving a Ford.
A Ford
Escape, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the budget SUV of Fords.
Yeah, it is.
Nothing against you, Ford.
Yeah, it's like
sue us for slander.
And it was a couple years old. It wasn't like the newest one either.
No.
It was like 3 years old. I'd say.
It was getting older. So,
which I don't have a problem driving older cars if they're Japanese or German.
What were you saying? They spent all their money.
That's what you were saying
on their computer. Yeah,
you said that.
All the money went to the computer, so they couldn't buy like a upgraded car.
Yeah,
it's true, man.
Yeah,
just there's nothing wrong with Apple or Macs. Not for this cat.
Well, my topic's gonna kind of touch on that.
Yeah, what happened, man? You were telling me about this.
Sorry.
What'd you call it? An i9 fiasco?
Yeah. So remember we talked about it, like that $7,000 MacBook Pro. We talked about it.
Right.
Well, apparently that i9, because it's still that really small form factor. So initially people thought it was just a form factor and like a cooling issue, but it was thermal throttling.
Right.
Down below its base clock.
Below
its base clock.
Wait.
It was actually performing slower than like the i7 model that was cheaper.
Okay. So why were people paying for an i9? That makes no...
Well, people paying that much are professionals, so, they don't care about form factor. They want it to work.
Right.
So apparently, though, if we talked about this like last week, that would have been the height of the news. Like, oh man, there's thermal throttling, blah, blah. Mac came out with a patch. Apparently, it was just like one digit was off in like a line of code.
Right.
Relating to the thermal throttling. And apparently that fixed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we always jump on the wagon last.
So it is a happy ending, I guess, for everybody, even because those people who, I don't want those people who spent $7,000 to be screwed either,
Yeah.
No, they should get what they paid for.
That would suck.
Yeah.
Definitely get what you pay for, people.
Yeah.
So this was only Apple related with i9s.
With just the i9. It didn't happen. Did not have. Yeah.
Dang, dude.
But apparently, I've been seeing some articles. The patch was a few days ago, and I've been seeing some articles popping up that now it actually is performing where it should be. It does thermal throttle some, but what you'd expect for
You're
a laptop.
distorting a little, pal.
Oh,
I'm just letting you know on this end. You're distorting.
My
so
bad.
yeah, angle it.
Angle it. There we go. I'll turn towards the camera. Hey, people.
Smile pretty.
Yeah. So apparently, though,
pretty boys.
The patch did fix it, from what I've been seeing.
So only Mac related, and it was Apple's coding.
Yeah. Now they do thermal throttle, but what you would expect for a laptop, when it should.
Well, it's supposed to. You don't want that. You don't want to be able to cook food on your laptop.
Even like the best even like the high end like PCs, they'll still throttle if they work too hard. That's just normal. So what's your Mac story, man?
Okay. The Apple iPad Pro leak.
Oh, with the Face ID?
Face ID. Yeah. Slimmer bezels, like less bezel, so you get more screen real estate.
Yeah. You get more of that 12:9.
Yeah. And they also may be following suit of their previous products and ditching the headphone jack.
Yeah. It's still a little too soon, I think.
Who? Excuse us, people. Yeah. We're both dying here today.
It's live.
Coffee's
phlegmy, man.
I understand. I love Bluetooth. I love my Bluetooth headset. I do. Okay. And I use that. But there are times.
Well, you still get way more versatility out of like a regular 3.5.
Right. Yeah. And there are times. Here's one of them right here. I'm plugging in with a 3.5 millimeter. Come on. I need a headphone port. Now, true, it's not on my phone. It's for this. Mm-hmm. But it's still a relevant connector.
Yeah.
After all these years, I don't know how long ago it came out.
Dude, I still use my headphone. I use my headphones on my PC. I use them on my Switch.
It is a thing. It's still relevant, very much so.
There was a little hack I found with my Switch where I got to play it on my computer monitor that doesn't have speakers. You dock it, hook it up HDMI. You can still plug into the headphone jack while it's docked. So I could play on a computer with no speakers. That was pretty sweet. Thanks to a 3.5. I think you can Bluetooth headphones though to it. Though.
What, to your Switch?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. I did it when I had mine. It sounded pretty good.
Yeah.
The only thing I've had issue with Bluetoothing to some devices were if the headphones were like a cheap Bluetooth headphone, and that's what people tend to lean towards because they're not cheap when you buy them.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that didn't bleed through too bad. We'll talk about that later. It should be even better once we do the upgrades, but Bluetooth into like a gaming handheld, like a PS Vita or the Switch when I had it, I did notice my cheaper headphones, there was like audio lag, like to the video. When you were dealing with video and audio specifically, there was a lag. And then the more expensive headphones, I don't know if they had a better codec or better hardware internally in the headphones and could transmit. I don't know what threw it off, but yeah, there was no sync with the more expensive headphones. So that's always one factor. But dealing away with the headphone port, no, I don't see it. Not yet. Why?
Give it like 2 years.
2 years? Why? They did it a couple years ago, and people were pissed.
That was when it should have been like 4 or 5 years. Give it 2 or 3 years, maybe. Maybe.
People were pissed, and then they they released that dongle, like a lightning to USB or lightning to headphone.
Well, the phones. The first phones, like I think it was the 8. Was that or was it the 7?
I don't know. I'm not.
The 7 or the 8 was the first one to do away with them, and I think it was the 7 actually.
Yeah.
But they come with the adapter,
right? And
but you're still using up your port.
Yeah.
And then you can get the one that's a splitter, so you can still use your port, but that's more money.
There's a guy, actually. How bad?
They did this, you know what? They did the same thing with the USB or Lightning Thunderbolt, I think it's 3 now. Yeah, Thunderbolt 3 with their USB-C on their MacBooks. There's no other ports.
So what happens? All right, what happens when wireless charging technology really ramps up? It's rock solid. That's the way to do it. Are you going to be buying an iPhone that has 0 ports on it?
Hmm. Oh, like
we don't need a
wireless
port.
tech. Like, oh, you're talking that's totally like
wireless. You don't need a cord. I'm telling you.
That's like 10 years away.
I'm calling the future. Apple is going to release an iPhone that is completely wireless.
Hey, at least it'd be nice, easy to waterproof, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's something. That's 10, 15.
The downfall of waterproofing though is whenever you got it's like a device that has an open hole for a microphone or for speakers. That's where you can
do speakers where it's just vibrating the glass though.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can do that. But I don't know. Completely wireless phone. Would you buy it? What if Android did it? Samsung or Google?
Well, the trend is that like these technologies start in Android, and then Apple makes them seem new and innovative like 5 years later. You know what I mean? Like quick charging.
Give us $1,000 for 2 years ago technology.
No, okay, let's look at quick charging. This is a good example. So, I think it's this. I think it might be all the ones out of even the 10. All the ones out of like the 8 and the 10 are quick charging compatible, but you have to buy a separate charger that's a higher wattage to do it.
Oh yeah, in order
it doesn't come in the box.
No,
and they just that was just this past November on phones. You can get quick charging on an Android phone like 4 or 5 years ago on like a budget phone 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. Dude, it's just not. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see. The devices look amazing. Yeah. They do. They work. They just work and do what they're intended to do well. But as far as making them really versatile, I've never been able to do that easily. Never been able to do it. In some cases, at all, with the tech when I want to do. With an Android device, I've always been able to do it. Windows,
You can usually.
I've set up 2 Windows phones for people, and I intend to do no more if I have a choice in it.
Okay.
Windows.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You're talking the Windows phone.
Yeah. No.
Windows, the operating system, I like.
All right, man.
Like
so
computer.
We'll quit slam. No, I'm not. I don't want to slam Apple. They make.
You didn't even. Well, oh, dude, I did read though the Face ID on the new iPad, bringing it back.
Okay. Okay.
So the reason so apparently there is a hiccup with that technology, The orientation of the camera has to be the same. So you can't like, unlock your iPad in a different. You're always gonna have to like hold it like this to do it.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay. And
So on a phone, apparently it works pretty well because you're usually always going to be starting your phone like
right,
that.
right, in the same relation to the phone. But
the iPad, there might be a hiccup with that when it comes out.
You think they would figure that out though, man?
I don't know.
I'm gonna check framing because I keep drifting back. See what is what, people.
What is what?
Yeah, we'll do this shit. Oh yeah,
You're good.
we're good, son. All right, man, it's time. Halftime show. Take off our pants.
Sorry, been texting. My girlfriend's looking for thumb grips for me for my Switch.
Thumb grips.
Oh, my kid yanked one of them off, so I need a new set. Like the rubber on it.
Oh, okay. I was like, damn,
not
man.
the actual stick.
Gangster kid.
Yep.
Thought she tore the whole thumbstick out.
No. Then that'd be. Sorry.
Weird. You got your water, man?
Yeah, I do.
We should take a water break.
No, if she ripped the actual thumbstick, that'd be like $50 for a new Joy-Con, or $80 for a new set.
Oh,
they ain't cheap. $50 for one or $80 for a set.
So, to recommend people something, if you're gonna buy or build your own computer, where would you say? Now, granted, you can't get away with a dual core, but where would you say your personal minimum baseline would be? Would you recommend a quad just to?
Are we talking just somebody getting into what, gaming, or just need a PC?
Just a PC, so they never have to deal with any bullshit. Now, if it gets infected, that's a whole different thing. But I'm talking hardware-wise, they're not going to deal with any bullshit or.
So, but gaming's not an issue?
Well, gaming, whatever, any of it. But I'm saying
well, you kind of have to dial this in a little bit.
Well,
man.
I can safely say, if I recommend something to somebody, I'm like, you can get a dual core.
If you're just doing personal use?
Yeah, personal use.
Email, YouTube, write up a paper, save some photos.
Even YouTube, dude. Shit, I mean, computers, in my experience of touching many different ones, a dual core versus a quad, and true, you're not using all the cores, but it's a little more fluid. It works a little better for general multitasking.
It can back end. It can offload some of that stuff on the back end to the other cores.
Right, it can. And I always try to recommend a quad, which when you go quad with a laptop, though...
Well, you can go a laptop. I'd say you're fine a quad or a dual with hyper-threading.
Oh, yeah.
Then that'd be ideal for a laptop, because you can get some oomph if you need it, but it's going to be running cool most of the time.
No, I always tend to recommend the same thing you just said, dual with hyper if it has it. And do they make any? I'm not familiar with the current gen hardware.
Apparently, the 9th gen, I think the entry level is supposed to be
i3 quad.
It's supposed to be just a true quad. Actually, here's how they're doing it for the next one. I saw a screen pic. It didn't actually show the i3, but people are assuming it's just going to be a quad. Because here's how the i5 is going to be 6 cores, no hyperthreading, so just 6 threads. The i7 is going to be 8 cores, no hyperthreading, so 8 threads. The i9 is going to be, I think, 8 and then hyperthreaded, so 16 threads. So people are assuming the i3 is just going to be just cores. So they're on their lower ones, they're ditching the hyperthreading and going for physical cores.
Hey, that's a good thing. I mean, and I don't truly understand it in a sense of can tell you exactly how it works.
Hyperthreading?
I just know that when you have 2 cores, 2 cores with hyperthreading, and you look in Device Manager, you see 4 cores.
So here's
4 individual processors.
A couple years ago, I heard Linus explain it pretty well.
All right.
And here he explained it simply too. So basically, each core can handle a line of code at one time. So in a quad core, no hyperthreading, you have 4 mouths going
Right, 4 mouths to eat.
Yeah. So on a and there's a plate here, so you have to go with a physical core. What hyperthreading does is each of those cores gets a second hand. So technically it can't eat any faster, but you can get the next bit to the mouth faster.
Right.
So it effectively acts like 2, but you don't have an actual physical there.
That makes sense, man.
So,
Hey, the way to do it, if you're not familiar with hardware, find somebody that is.
And have them explain it pretty simply like that.
Hell, man, contact either one of us on Facebook or however. Through the website, Facebook.
Discord, whatever.
antisocialexp at gmail.com. I gotta give you the password for that so you can get in there too. Yeah, I'll recommend anything for anybody, man. You know.
But for gaming, see, if you're gonna game,
talk to him.
Well, I'd say recommend.
He keeps more current than this old man.
I'd say if you're trying to do any kind of serious gaming, minimum quad core. You probably want a quad core hyperthreading if you can. Certain games do take advantage of like more cores, like City Skylines. I think Civ does. Basically, like those types of games, like building big map games.
Right.
You can utilize more cores, but bare minimum quad core. And then as for GPU right now, which I don't know, because there are more rumors in August, we'll see the 11 series, but we'll see. Because graphics card prices are cheap right now. Minimum 1066 gigabyte card. I'd say if you want to see some serious gaming where you can play like everything but tweak the settings to play.
10 series 6 gig VRAM.
Well, there's the 1060.
Oh, okay, 1060
specifically.
Okay,
there's two models.
Cards.
There's a 3 gig and a 6 gig.
Right, go for
with
the 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, always. Don't.
Dude, right now you can get like a 1080 for like $480.
Did you ever wonder about that when manufacturers, and it's kind of what you just said about 3 versus 6, they got a current, like, you're getting like a quad HD display, AC wireless, whatever, and they take, and it's a great phone, however, 12, 14, whatever megapixel camera, and like a more than 3 on the front for a front-facing cam. Great audio codec, maybe even a little bit of kind of like a amp built into it, like the one LG phone. They'll take and do all that, and then they'll just completely fucking neuter the phone and put like 2 gigs of RAM in it.
Oh, yeah. You got all this other stuff.
All this other top-end shit, and you just throw 2 gigs of RAM.
You can use all this cool stuff, but only one thing at a time.
Right.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Yeah. No, didn't see it, man.
A phone, I'd say minimum 4 gigs of RAM these days.
Yeah, but it's not something you can upgrade, people.
No, you can't. Well, there's an app I used where you can partition some of the stuff like from an SD or internal memory, but it's not going to be as fast.
No, and you can do that. You used to be able to do that with Windows, and I had a friend, he was so invested in that.
You can do that. You can offload like SSD storage and use it as RAM, but it's still not as fast.
Right. Well, the way he was doing it is he would take and he would use a thumb drive, a flash drive. What is that? Power boosters? I forget what they called it. Easy boot, something. Thank you, people, for the loud vehicle. But he would plug that in and use that offload to that, using it like RAM. And I'm like, dude,
that stuff's really unstable.
Yeah, you're gonna burn up that flash drive. Well, the flash drive was only like $20 or $30, and if I want to buy more RAM, it costs this much. I'm like,
but you're gonna burn through that and get to that price pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm like, the RAM's gonna last a lot longer.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't really know how to install the RAM, and I'm like,
by the time you get to the point where the RAM's dead, you'll have spent so much on flash drives. It's ridiculous. You could have built a whole new computer.
Yeah. He didn't, finally he did, thankfully, listen and buy some RAM instead of using flash drives as RAM.
I've heard of people, there's this one dude who came into Best Buy where I worked, and he was saying that they used to take flash drives.
Ooh, we don't have the duck sound queued up to bleep out the corporations and Big Brother.
Shit.
That's all right.
You can do a post for the
next.
Fuck
them. Yeah. Nah, fuck it.
But they would take flash drives, and I'm not saying anything inflammatory. I'm just telling a story what a customer said that was cool.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Okay. Got to keep the monkeys off our back, man.
He was in the Army. He was like communications, so like he knew like a lot about networking and stuff.
Okay.
And he talked to me for like an hour. He didn't buy anything, but it was just cool to like listen to him. But they would take flash drives and like wire a bunch together and use them like hard drives temporarily. They knew they would burn out, but they're like, we just need some storage real quick to move stuff around. Thought that was pretty neat.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I would want to do any kind of tech or communications related stuff for a military, even though
He said he just sat in he just kind of sat in like a room, most of it air conditioned.
Right.
Yeah.
But say you have a skill that is above and beyond anybody else, and then they need a problem that involves your skill in a war zone. Like, fuck no. Nope.
Well, I still don't think that, I think basically like, oh, we need a wire here. Well, they're going to, like, infantry is going to run the wire out there for you.
Right.
And then you'll set it up back here.
I don't know, man. Just not my thing. You know, I have family, and what do you consider like family? I never wanted to do the dumb thing of, oh, this is my step cousin, or you know, when my mom was married to somebody else and it was his immediate blood family. I just called them cousins. So
yeah.
But no, kudos to people that are in the service and that. I have cousins that were in it, and brother in the Air Force, and you know, not for me though, man.
Yeah.
They made a good career out of it, but not this guy.
No.
I don't want to shoot anybody. I don't have the brain to be able to handle that type thing.
Well, most jobs you don't really have to worry about that.
No. Do you think you could do it, man? Could you go out and be sniping people or
like
some
an
shit?
actual combat position?
Yeah, like all the games you play. Could you go out in real world and do that? Shit?
If like I had, like if there was a draft and like I had to, I think I could. But I'm not just gonna go do it.
Yeah, you're not gun ho to fucking jump on the wagon
and hopefully, well, I got other like hope. I don't know if that situation arises. I think I'd be welding.
Yeah, that's true. You are a welder.
I think I got a skill that would get me out of it.
Ooh, you shared my post.
Yeah, I shared your post.
I'm getting that notification a little late.
A little late.
I'm time traveling, people. Time traveling. So where did we go, man? We didn't have much on the table for today.
Oh, that's all you had was one Apple thing?
Yeah, I try not to follow Apple news. I mean, I do have other shit. I don't have nothing Apple related.
Oh, no, but but what other topics do you have?
Dude, you're dying today, man.
I am. Damn. The donuts, I think.
Probably it. That's why I didn't.
You abstained.
I did, sir. So, what do you think? Do you think when there's leaks on stuff, new products coming out, do you think it is? What do you think there's more of? The company letting shit leak, trying to build the hype?
So we're talking about legitimate leaks.
Yeah, or do you think somebody's getting a hold of this tech and leaking it before they want it out?
The latter.
You think it's people getting a hold of it?
Yeah, like reviewers or like devs or something.
You don't think Apple or Samsung or somebody wants to feed the hype machine?
No. I could see them like being like, okay, if it happens now, it's okay. We can, we're only a couple weeks. We could jump on it early. But they don't want like the news getting out too early.
Because some of the shit gets crazy. Like you got Lewis from Unbox Therapy, and he's holding like iPhone cases that are made from mock-ups of the phone before the phone's released, and just other shit that gets out there.
Yeah.
Over and over again. And